Hey, Randy here, and today we are... Shall we make a game? Today we are, first of all, we're going to finish off this dialogue tree, as we've done about 90% of it, but the very ending of it needs to be just scripted out. So, it's the introduction rooftop. Yes, that's right. So I was going to have a very slightly different route. Yes, there's actually a couple of things I need to keep in mind here. Let me just check that I've got variables for both of them. That's at least one question. I also want to add a bit in here where it asks about, here we go, the idea of being kind of detached. So if you basically say, hey, yeah, I'm not exactly a pillar of the community, I don't really know many people in this world, that's when the angel will tell you about the map. So they, of course, wouldn't tell you after you close the dialogue. However, if you hadn't asked about that, they probably would go, here's the shortlist we'd suggest. Notified regarding map. Oh, and I've actually put a log there to say I was going to do it anyway. So, we now have the extra variable. Now we can now tell whether or not we've seen that branch. Yeah, that's right. So, so we're gonna have the dialogue kind of sort of branch here for whether it's kind of satisfied or whether it's dissatisfied. Have I spelt that correctly? One of those words that, does it take one S or two? Two S's. Good. Okay. Now I think this is a bit too much dialogue really to fit in, because I think you can only fit about say maybe that much into a line. Right, and then it's going to branch off from these two. So it's basically going to branch into one of these two paths, and then again branch off into two more paths. So first of all, we're checking whether or not we've asked any questions. If not, they're like, are you taking this seriously? And then if you were never told about the map, he'll go, here's the map. Otherwise it's like, this is the map I was talking about. Let's just think about what dialogue we're putting in first before we try and before we actually start making functions for it. So rather than saying confidence, what if okay, yeah, that's where we're going with the dissatisfied kind of plot line, and this one up here is just kind of saying yep, let's move on. Right, so what options we're going to have next for dialogue? Yeah, so it's going to be if you're sort of saying, this is if you don't know about the map. Right, so although you are free to assign fate points as you wish, have prepared a short list of suggested conflicts to preside over. Otherwise, oh, it'd be so nice if I could just write these as number C functions, but just because it has to be callback based, it gets complicated. Here's a map of the that's a bit clunky, but it'll do. Okay, so we're going to have 3 lines of dialogue for this. Oh, my music just stopped for some reason. As per usual, it's music I'm not playing on here, it's just to stop me mumbling. Okay, so after this, we're going on to a second line. And we can mostly dump out. We don't need to do any more manipulation in here. And then we've got one final line, which is this one here. All right, so then we're going to have these two branches here where we either don't or do know about the map. Rooftop. Yeah, I'm thinking like introducing versus presenting map. Introducing map. I might also change the camera angle here, so it's going to like draw back a bit so you can see the map kind of unfolding. Oops. Hopefully we've managed to stay within the pixel limit this time. And this will be the part where it exits into the next scene. It's going to be in the same locale, but it's going to be a shared script that it's going to loop back to every time you kind of finish the scenario. Something I haven't really thought about that much is how I'm actually going to implement the selection, because while I could just go for a menu, I actually wanted it to be quite visual, where you have kind of like a city that, you know, kind of like a city map that doesn't quite make a lot of sense, but it makes enough sense that you can kind of tell it's a city, and then you mouse over bits, maybe like some text pops up and tells you roughly what it is. So a feature I'd need for that is object picking, which I haven't implemented yet, but I'm going to have to eventually, so I might as well. All right, let's just connect all this up. What's this complaining about? Oh yeah, here it is. And this is the bit where it needs to branch based on what you've selected. So, yeah, so if you were notified about the map, it's presented. Otherwise, it's introduced. All right, bit of a strange naming, but I'm hoping that makes sense. Let's go find that menu. Here it is, here it is. So we need to make this switch based on what you selected. So they've asked at least one question. It's going to be dissatisfied. Otherwise, satisfied. And now we just need to advance declare those functions so that the C compiler knows they're there. If I advance declared 11, I can get rid of it at the same time. Yep, I did. And I'm going to add a script for the rooftop, well, for the kind of map screen. And see if we can pop ourselves over to that. And then we can have a quick little test around and make sure that all of the paths through our script work correctly. They should do. They should do. Come on, build. Oh, it's a happy build. Right. Okay, so if we just skip through without asking any questions. Oh, I've done that the wrong way around. Okay, good for we tested that, isn't it? He's satisfied we didn't ask any questions. Okay, so we don't have any questions. Really? You don't have anything you'd like to know about this? I do hope you're taking this seriously, in any case. At which point the script just kind of stops abruptly. Which it's not. Oh, I've accidentally made it loop back on itself. Oops. So every time I dismiss that dialog box, it just pops the same on back up on the same frames. You don't even notice a flicker. Although you are free to assign your fate points as you wish, we've prepared a short list of associated conflicts to preside over. Take a look at this map. And that's where the map would be shown, if we had one. Okay, so next up we're going to answer at least one question, but not the one that changes whether the map dialog is shown. Excellent, let's move on. You're free to assign your... Okay, that worked nicely. So next up we asked the second question, which should skip that line of dialogue. Okay, that's good, that's good. Oh, maybe I should have them turn around as well. Yeah, I'll do that at the same time. So here we can start transition out. Let's just reuse the code from the previous scene, just so I've got nice consistency to the length. I should probably have a variable somewhere with the length of this transition in it, just so it's consistent. Okay, we're also going to need to define this new script exists. At some point I'm going to have to make like a title screen and stuff, but that's just going to be other scripts. It'd be nice if there was kind of like a state reset feature built into the engine, but I don't think that's really feasible. It's not impossible, but it's not really that feasible. Now, at the moment, going to the world map will crash the game because I haven't actually mapped the world map to a script function, but that's fine. Why does that still think there's a problem? What's going on there? Oh, that's not defined. That's a good start. Oh, we haven't actually imported the script stuff. Okay, I was going to make them both do kind of like a hill turn. Where's the bit where they face the city? That's probably a good one to edit. Yeah, I'll steal that and just basically reverse it. And hey, we finally found a use for a timer that has an advanced callback but no end callback. Good for me, I suppose. So we're going to want to do the complete opposite here of what we're doing. What we're doing before. Oh my god, this math is terrible. What was I even thinking with this? Okay. Minus 2 multiplied by 3. So that'd be 2 plus. This is incomprehensible, just how we like it. Oh, hang on, that'd be 2 subtract. Okay, I think that'll work. Oh wait, that needs to be 2 as well. Okay, let's see what that does. It might work, probably won't. Oh, I changed the header file. I need to do a parallel build again. Oh, I wish there was a nicer solution to that. Other than just don't use C. That's also a nice solution, but it's not the one we're going to take. Come on. Build if you please. Okay. Just click for these as soon as we can. Hey, we got it right first time. What are the chances? Okay, and then it should fade out, and then it will crash because we're now in a scene which doesn't have a working script. So next up, we do the world map. Now this is actually going to be, even though it doesn't have kind of like an animation or a sort of a cutscene in it, this is actually going to be a very complex scene as it's going to have a lot of objects in it. And I'm thinking you're also going to have some dialogue with the angel in here if you turn and talk to him. I might end up farming that out into a separate folder though. Yeah, in fact, I'm going to preempt all this complexity by trying to split it up slightly. Okay, and then nice and simple, we're just going to take this rooftop scene and start modifying it. So again, we're going to need the city, we're going to need the rooftop base, and for now I'm not going to need any of this. Let's get rid of all of it. We are going to need the angel and we are going to need the protagonist, so I'm going to keep their stuff around. They're going to be right there from the beginning this time though. So we've got an entity for the world. Let's have one. Yeah, that's kind of a bit weird that you end up kind of like an entity that is for all the things that you don't attach to entities. Kind of like a kitchen sink entity, I guess. Could be weirder, I suppose. So we can get rid of all of this. And no callback there. I'm just going to temporarily comment all this out, so I'm not going to need it. I changed the header file again, didn't I? Oh, what's the error? What's the error? Oh yeah, I didn't actually rename this function. Oops. Oh, I just cannot like name things consistently, can I? So I need to have a bit of a think about how I'm actually going to deal with this. Well, it still isn't working, is it? Oh, yeah, I need to import it into here. I need to think about how I'm going to deal with things like mousing over and the... do I put this stuff in the mesh component? Do I put like the picking code directly inside the mesh? Because it is going to have to be aware of every mesh component in the scene. So I guess I do. But it also needs to be aware of yeah, it needs to be aware of image components because they overlay. So you can't click on something if it's like behind, say, a text box. Yeah, I expected that to crash. I hadn't reloaded. Okay, let's adjust the camera angle here a bit, as that's a bit it's kind of across the bow. We want to be kind of looking down at the map. So active object as camera. Now we can kind of move the camera around and get the coordinates we can copy into the engine. Okay, a bit more adjustment, I think. Just gotta be careful not to expose the edge of the map. Actually, does this have the same aspect ratio as our in-game camera? Yes, it does. Okay, that's probably a good place to put it, isn't it? So, just copy these figures across. I should be able to refresh now, and it'll always start in that scene, yeah. As it's updated the save state. We need to turn this into radians, of course. Don't let me down like this, DuckDuckGo. You had a nice converter last time. I'm not losing my mind. I could have sworn yesterday I had a nice converter. Anyway. There we go. That's all I wanted. Okay, let's see how that looks in engine. All right, okay, that looks pretty good. So let's get the original camera angle and then do kind of like a blend between them. So again, we're gonna have to do some advanced declaration for this to happen. So this is going to get called every frame while the camera runs, and we'll be able to use it to do a nice linear interpolation between our default camera angle and this one. I think I've already got a thing for linear interpolation, haven't I? Yes, it's right there. It's the last thing I did in that file. Nice. Let's get the rooftop scene back open again. So we're going to blend between these two positions and angles. So let's get the old new ones in, and we're going to use the progress for the animation to kind of blend between the old camera angle and the new one. For the rotation, we don't actually need to use lerp as we are just going from 0. So we can just multiply it by the progress through the animation. And then we just need to set a timer. I really should make these I really should make these sets of parameters a bit easier to remember. Okay, let's see if that works. Oh, it's complaining because I haven't used all the parameters. Oh, it didn't like that. Now it's possible. It's possible that the, yeah, there you go. What happened there was the camera wasn't set by the start of the frame. That's kind of annoying. I can just call into this with some fake data just to make it think that there's a camera there before there is. There we go, that'll do. Okay. Next up, we need to spawn a map. So I need to model one first of all. That's kind of convenient. We've got the camera in the right spot, so I can just start experimenting and we can see kind of how it looks in the kind of real viewport. So let's move it to, this is kind of very weird trying to position it on an axis I can't see. Okay, scale it up slightly. That's probably good. We want to leave a bit of space at the back because we're going to have like the protagonist and the angel kind of standing there. Okay. Let's use the same material again, as I'm anticipating being able to basically dice this up into small pieces and then texture them. This will probably do this kind of. I think this is the color of like the angel wings, but it'll do for doing some streets. Okay, how am I going to do this? I'm probably going to have to say like 4 pixels and an intersection. That'll probably do. Might do 5 just so it can be symmetrical like that. Yeah. And let's try and hint at some, yeah, some street lights so it kind of gets darker in places. Yeah, that might be an interesting enough pattern. And then we're going to have an intersection, so it's going to be kind of similar, I think. Okay, that's going to be our kind of like roadmap. So let's just get that into engine. Okay, I need to figure out how I'm going to dice this up, as I don't actually quite know off the top of my head. I'm going to unwrap this on the basis that unwrapping this is going to make a right mess. Ideally, I don't want to be having to re-unwrap like 50 copies of the same polygon. Let's see, that's probably about as dense as we want it to be. So that'll give us the opportunity to have a few blocks, but not too many. Maybe more like that. Let's took us straight up to 200 triangles like that. You can never make an old PlayStation game like this. So let's try and wrapping 1 or 2 tiles of this and see how they kind of look. And the pixel ratio looks good. Happy with that. Doesn't look too stretched either way. And then we can make an intersection here. It's like the world's worst game of SimCity, isn't it? And then we're going to have some buildings going to pop up out, and this is why I kind of extruding these up a bit. And I'm going to have to do something about texturing the sides of it. Doesn't quite have the look I was going for. Now that I'm actually looking at it, would I be better off with just like a basic kind of, almost kind of a grid? So if I completely black this out. I don't think you want to live in one of these buildings that are a bit, they're a bit hollow and drafty. All going good your end? Fair, I guess. Fair, I guess. So sometimes some things are just better off not said in a public context. Oh, happily intoxicated. That's the best kind. It's going a lot slower than I kind of was hoping. I was hoping to have like one of the scenarios done by now. So it's not looking like there's actually going to be a lot done by Halloween, which was the original kind of sort of soft deadline. I am definitely going to stop working on it at Halloween though, just because it's proving to be a bit much to work on this and do other things at once. There is absolutely no way I could do 2 hours a day. There's just absolutely no way. Actual death would happen on stream. Okay, that's a bit too bright. Is that looking any better? That's too dark. Bit of a gradient, maybe. Oh, this isn't actually square, is it? No, it is. Okay. It's having a complete failure of pixel counting, I guess. Okay, all right, that'll do. Still going to tweak this a bit later, I think, though. Oh, I've sort of pin cushioned the top of it. Didn't mean to do that. Okay, what am I doing here? What am I doing? Okay, yeah, I hadn't really thought that far ahead on how I was actually going to model this, and it's kind of showing there. Guess delete everything I haven't unwrapped yet and then just replicate these across. Is it good old that good old array modifier? Well, are we talking about help with help with continuing to go for 2 hours a day? We're talking about help with dying. I don't know which one I'm more worried about. Okay, we can apply this modifier. Oh, I have applied it. Let's start blocking out some buildings. Not thinking too hard about this. Just put them anywhere, I guess. Yep, that'll do. If I was really thinking about it, I'd make the ones at the outer edge shorter so they don't kind of get in the way of the ones in the middle. I think I'll fix that now. Ah, pressing the wrong buttons. Ah, there we go. A clue. I'm definitely going to have some different colours just to kind of make it a bit more readable. At the moment, it all kind of blurs together into one thing. Oh, there is actually a background kind of in engine. If I, yeah, there is a back. Oh, you can actually see off the bottom of the world there. That wasn't great. But yeah, there is definitely a background. It's just you can't see in here because it's a separate object. Yeah, just keep building these out. Oh, right, yeah. I was kind of thinking about that. So there's a really major streamer called Botster who does sort of game dev on stream, and their kind of take on it was that if you don't want music, you can't take it away. And there is a bit of a can of worms with things like getting copyrighted strikes and things. Yeah, I mean, even if it's marked as kind of like, you know, being streamer safe and stuff, it rarely stays that way, if that makes sense. You know, people realize they can retroactively copyright something after you've used it, and then you get copyright struck like 2 years down the line. Yeah, this is definitely something worth looking into. I'll be honest, it may be obvious, I didn't do a huge amount of planning for them currently doing. I was sort of like, I'll just get started on it. How bad can it be? And yeah. Well, the thing with that is, and I've actually been bitten by this before on another project, after it had been used in a project, they then copyright struck people who had used it in their project. Yeah, I definitely need to swap some of these out for like a different color texture so they're a bit more readable. Maybe have it kind of like, you know, fading as it goes up or something like that. So that's pretty ugly, isn't it? that's pretty terrible looking. Oh no. We're getting there though. Yeah, that's probably a good call. Yeah, I need to look into it because I believe you can have things in the recording, but not in the in the stream, but not in the recording, vice versa for OBS. But I've not really played around enough to be quite sure. I think there might also be like a separate channel, maybe. I'm not sure though. Okay, we're getting there. Okay, we're definitely almost there. Just gonna turn off the texture so I can see a bit more clearly what I'm doing. Oh, that's actually wave read. It might do. I mean, so one of the things is, at the moment, I'm kind of in what I'd sort of call sort of practice mode, where I don't really know what I'm doing, and I'm mostly just messing around and not making any kind of real effort to promote it until I'm a bit more sure about what I'm doing. Yeah, hearing things I should be putting in is definitely go cool. It probably does, yeah. Look at the bright side. You're not being lost in a sea of comments. I mean, I say like you know, well, even kind of like medium time streamers where they're, you know, just absolutely incomprehensible walls of comments. And I'm like, why even comment at that point? No one's going to see it. I guess it might also push some of the, it might push people to be edgier and things like that because they have to really, really be cursed to stand out. Oops. Oh my God, we're almost there with this. How long have we been modeling this? Like, what, half an hour? It's in boxes. This is where I found out that venting counts as the alter ego for I don't know, Mr. Beast or something. Your plausible deniability is plausible. Oh, I've kind of ended up in a weird situation here. I've got kind of like an edge that has nothing on it. Oh, it's kind of annoying. I can't flip it. This here. Oh, this is backwards. Are all these backwards? Oh no, everything on that facing that way is backwards. Arrgh. We'll fix it, we'll fix it. Oh wait, now I've got a double edge on that side. Oh no, what am I doing? I'm just gonna pretend I can't see that double pixel and that, yeah, that edge with no pixels on it. Whatever. Okay, almost done with this cereal box model. Almost there. Okay, where have I got missing faces? Okay, I got one there. Got one there. And I've got some on that side. Why did I think modelling this in so much detail was a good idea? I could have gotten away with a flat texture. Okay, just a few more rooftops to go. And then... oh yeah, I haven't got a T-block, have I? Yeah, I might fix that. Actually, now you mentioned it. That's going to bother me too. I also don't actually have a true line piece. So I'm going to turn this into a T-block. It's a good little Easter egg. Okay, and... oh, that doesn't have a roof on it. And this needs to be one block longer to be a true line piece. Or I could just get rid of these two here. I don't know, man, I don't know. Okay, I think that's done. Let's just have a look at how it looks with the... oh, that looks terrible. Oh my god. Oh, it's so bright. So let's just make a variant of this texture that's a bit darker. And then select everything on the ground floor. Oops, move the whole thing over. That looks a bit less terrible, but still doesn't look great. So I might make a third variant of it, make like a really bright one. And then I can use this to pick out walls that face, say, left versus forwards. Now, I was considering having the map spin, but that wouldn't actually work if you were selecting things on it. So let's now go in everything that faces this way or the other way. We're going to retexture to be way brighter. The circle select tool in Blender is so good. Just being able to kind of like paint selection. Really good for situations like this. Oh, that's a bit weird. Something's gone backwards. Anyway, that helps a bit. It's just got a bit more contrast between, say, the ground and the. Wait, what's happened to this? There we go. Just a bit more contrast between the ground and the buildings, and a bit of contrast on the edges of them. Just going to darken this a bit more. See if that helps a bit. Oh yeah, that definitely helps quite a lot. Okay, all right, so let's just get this into engine nice and quick. Nearly out of time for today, bloody hell. I spent the entire day modeling some boxes. So let's bring in the map, and I'm going to later on carve this into more pieces. So I'm actually just going to rename that to map base. And I can make a new entity for the map. And grab the position from here. Learn to type, that'd be a good idea. Let's see if that works in engine. Oh, didn't like something. And there it is. It's not quite where I expected it to be. It's kind of back a bit. That's a bit weird. Have I got this wrong? Oh, it's scaled. Oops, no, I didn't mean to do that. Okay, let's re-export and see if it looks any better. So they're kind of representing buildings. It's meant to be kind of like a bit of a world map. Oh, that actually looks really terrible in engine. There's not enough pixels. I need to think about this a bit. Do I just like flatten these in color entirely? I could definitely do that. Yeah, you are eventually going to be able to mouse over them and then click on them. That doesn't look great either. That at least looks a... Yeah, I'm not digging that. Oh, am I? I have to keep a bit of a watch out for that. Oh, hang on. Just realized, so this is actually... That's kind of weird. This is actually exporting with like the position applied. Let me just see if I can turn that off in the OBJ settings. Doesn't look like you can. That's a bit weird. It's a bit of a strange choice. Okay, so what I might do is make like a whole range of kind of brightness variants and have them kind of like gradients up the sides just so that it's a bit easier to see where the tops and bottoms are. Yeah, I'm going to do that. So at the moment we have this brightest one at the front, so I'm going to make it sort of like gradient from the very brightest. Like that. Let's see if that's a bit more readable. Oh, it would be if it was the right way up. Still not sure on that. Well, I am basically out of time, so I'm going to have to leave it there and have a bit of a think on how I want this to be presented, because that looks absolutely terrible. Looks nothing like what it looked like in my head. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great evening, and I'll be back on tomorrow.